Hello everyone and welcome to all my dear students. Today is your history class, right? So today in this class we are going to talk about third demographic measurement, that is a migration rate. And okay, before to discuss about third demographic measurement, once again I want to repeat the portion of previous class. And in our previous class, we had discussed the second demographic measurement as a mortality rate. And just in previous class, I told you that, and before class also, I told you that in the different demographic measurement, we should remember different formulas to calculate the different numerical problems. Because in the different measurement, formulas are very essential to calculate the different numerical problems. So that while we started from the first demographic measurement as a fertility, in fertility rate also, there are different ways, different methods to calculate the fertility rates as a first demographic measurement. And second, we discussed second lesson previous week, we had discussed about the mortality rate. And in mortality rate also, there are different ways to calculate different numerical problems linked with mortality rate. Okay, anyway, after then, just I told you that today we are going to discuss about the third demographic measurement, that's a migration rates. Okay, before to discuss about different ways of migration rates, first of all, I want to start with definition of migration. And while we started this unit, we have already discussed about that three factors are there: birth, death, and migration. The three factors that change the size of population. That means increase the number of population, decrease the number of population in a certain place. Three factors. That's a birth, death, and migration. And my dear students, we all know that migration is also one of the factors that change the size of population, because population increase as well as decrease the size of population, because in increase in a new place as a destination, increase the number of population, decrease the number of population in the original place in your previous place. So that migration helps to increase as well as decrease the size of population. And we know that population means to migrate. Migration means to migrate from one place to another place. Okay, after defining and some of the major migration rates, that means like a fertility and mortality. In migration also there are different ways to calculate migration rates. But there are although four major ways to calculate the migration rates. So in the slide, on the screen, you can see there the first migration rate, IMR, that's a in migration rate. Second, OMR, that's the out migration rate. That's a incoming the number of population as IMR, outgoing the number of population as OMR. Second measurement of the migration rate. And a third measurement of migration rate is NMR, that's a net migration rate. Or my dear students, you have to point out net migration rate is also known as a particular migration rate as well. My dear students, you can point out, we can copy down in your copy. Net migration rate is also known as a particular migration rate, or short form PMR, net migration rate or particular migration rate, third measurement of migration rate. And after NMR, the next measurement of migration rate is GMR, as a gross migration rate or total migration rate. Gross as a sum, total migration rate. GMR or TMR, total migration rate. So, my dear students, there are altogether four ways to measure the migration rates, four ways to calculate the numerical problems linked with migration rates, like in the fertility and the mortality rates. All right. So, okay, after the measurement of migration rate, now one by one we are going to discuss, means mainly formula. What's the formula of IMR, OMR, NMR and GMR, and one example to clarify or to calculate the different numerical problems linked with migration rates, right? So, okay, my dear students, now you can see in the next slide, we can see here, first of all, we are going to start from the first in migration rate. IMR, the first measurement of migration rate. So, my dear students, there is a formula of IMR. First of all, formula, the most important formula is very essential. And in the previous class also, I told you that with the help of the formula, we can easily calculate the different numerical problems of different demographic measurement, right? So, IMR equal to capital I divided by capital P multiplied by 1000. Once again, I want to repeat. Capital I divided by capital P multiplied by 1000. Now, what is the meaning of capital I and what is the meaning of capital P? Where I equal to total number of immigrants. That's a incoming the number of population. Total incoming the number of population. I incoming. Total number of incoming the number of population, and P, capital P equal to total medial population, and P is the common there. Common means in mortality rate also we had discussed about the meaning of P as a medial population or total population of a certain place, right? So P equal to total medial population, that means total number of population of a certain place or in a certain area. So that there is a meaning of I and P. So after meaning of I and P, now one of the example I have mentioned, you can see on the slide, the screen. First of all, I am going to read the example. Example, the population of a city was 6,06,003 in 2015 AD. Just example, suppose that the population of a city was 6,06,003 in 2015. Now, what was the in-migration rate? What was the in-migration rate if the number of in-migrants was 25,450? Calculate, that means what was the IMR if the number of incoming in-migrant incoming was 25,450. Now, after then you can see there is a solution, and for the solution we can put the formula at first, and the formula is IMR equal to capital I divided by capital P multiplied by thousands to calculate the IMR. So my dear students, once again you can see the example. Now, what's the total number of in-migrants? The total population was 25,450, right? Divided by P, total number of population. What's the total number of population? Total number of population of city was 6,06,003 multiplied by 1000. Now, while we do the cross and multiplication, the answer will become 42 per 1000. And my dear students, per 1000 that's a unit. In fertility also, fertility, in mortality also, we had discussed also unit of different demographic measurements. So in case of in-migration rate also, the unit is per 1000. So we have to multiply by 1000. So I by P multiplied by 1000. And once again, I want to repeat, just I told you, I, what's the I means incoming number of population? The total population was given in the question paper. And what's the total number of population is also mentioned in the question paper. Just we have to insert the formula, and after inserting the formula, we have to put the value, and after then we have to do cross multiplication to calculate IMR. IMR. And my dear students, we can also take another example also. Suppose that in the same example, suppose in the same example, the population of a city was suppose 6,000 in 2010. 6,000 in 2010. Now, what was the in-migration rate if the number of in-migrants was 20,000? Now, by using the formula, we can easily calculate IMR. That means in migration rate, the first measurement of migration rate. right? That's the first IMR. And after then, my dear students, you can see the next slide in the next page, the second measurement of migration rate, that is out migration rate, OMR. Out migration rate, OMR. Now let's begin from the formula, and after the formula, one example is mentioned on the screen to calculate OMR. So to calculate OMR, the formula is OMR equal to capital E divided by capital P multiplied by 1000. Capital E divided by capital P multiplied by 1000 to calculate OMR. Now, what is the meaning of E and what is the meaning of P? And just in IMR, incoming the number of population, but E means as outgoing the number of population. That means E equal to total number of E migrants. That means total number of outgoing number of population. I, incoming the number of population. E means as outgoing, total outgoing the number of population. And P equal to same as in IMR, P equal to total number of population. That means total medial population of a certain place. That's a P, meaning of P. Now, after the meaning of E and P, like IMR, there is one example to calculate the OMR. The example is here. Suppose that the population of a town was 6,66,560 in 2015. What is the out migration rate if the number of out migrants was 4,300? 4,300. Now, solution. Now, for the calculation, first, remember the formula, and for your easiness, once you can see in the top of the screen, there is the formula of OMR equal to E, capital E divided by capital P multiplied by 1000. And just like I told you, E means as outgoing the number of population. Now, you can see in the example, out migrants were 4,300. So 4,300 we have to replace in E divided by P. P means total number of population. Once again, you can see the example. What's the total number of population? The total number of population was 6,66,560 multiplied by 1000. Now we have to cross multiplication, and after doing the cross multiplication, then the answer will be 67.9 per 1000. And in case of unit, same as IMR per 1000, in OMR also the unit is per 1000. So the answer will be 67.9 per 1000 while we do the cross multiplication. The second measurement of out migration rate, or OMR. All right. Okay, my dear students, once again, I want to give one additional example. In the same example, to calculate the numerical problems, my dear students, listen very carefully. Suppose in the same example, suppose the population of a town was 6 lakh in 2010. Only 6 lakh in 2010. What was the out migration rate if the number of out migrant was 4,000? Only 4,000. Now, we have to use the formula, and we can easily calculate the numerical problems. So that to calculate the OMR also, just we have to put the value in the formula and do cross multiplication. Then we can easily calculate the OMR like in migration rate. Okay, that's the second measurement. My dear student, and after the second measurement of migration rate, the next measurement of migration rate is net migration rate or particular migration rate. Net migration rate or particular migration rate. Now, first of all, let's start from the formula of NMR, and NMR equal to I minus or subtract minus E, capital E divided by capital P multiplied by 1000. Once again, my dear students, capital I minus, we have to subtract capital E divided by P multiplied by 1000. Now, what is the meaning of I? What is the meaning of E? So the verb I equal to total number of in migrants and E equal to total number of out migrants and P equal to total media population. That means I means total number of incoming the number of population, incoming the number of population. E means total number of outgoing people. Incoming population minus incoming number of population minus outgoing the number of population divided by median population. P means total number of population, right? Multiple by 1000. Multiple by 1000 to calculate NMR. To calculate N.
सुनिल सर डिस्कनेक्ट हुनुभयो जस्तो छ है अनि भर्खर मैले सबै विद्यार्थीको चाहिँ भिडियो एकदमै अफ रहेछ मैले यहाँ नोट गरिरहेको छु तिमीहरूको चाहिँ जसको खुल्या छ तिनको पनि थाहा छ मलाई हैन त जम्मा 5-6 जनाको चाहिँ अन छ ल बाँकी सबै अहिले 11 जना बाँकी भयो सब टाप कसिले के क्लासै सध्या हो 11 जना बाँकी भयो सबै टाप
सर बत्ती गयो जस्तो छ त्यो साइडको
हो
त्यस्तो लाग्यो सर
बत्ती गयो जस्तो छ ल त्यसो भए अनि सुनिल सरको पनि बत्ती गयो
कोही पनि छैन स्टुडेन्ट 10 मा पनि कोही छैन यहाँ पनि कति छ
10 मा नि छैन रे त्यो 10 यो त 10 नै हो नि हैन 9 मा पनि छैन रे ल एलिस आचार्य हाँस्या चाहिँ मन पर्यो भाइ ह के छ कान्छा एकछिन गफ गरौ न ए मौका त पक्कै म पनि भिडियो अफ गरौँ
कहिले कहिले चाहिँ क्लासमा हल्ला गर्नु पर्छ नि हैन के के हो
हो म्याम
हुन्छ सर आयो केटा
टिचर एक्सन भयो
तर्क गरे हाँसिरहेको नमस्ते म्याम
नमस्ते
ए अलि जानु अगाडि यहाँ मेरो कानमा बोलेर आवाज जान्छ मेरो कानमा माइक्रोफोन भन्ने छ के म्यामले
न गर्न
ल
खै टिचरै हराइ गयो के पर्ने केटाले
16 जना आइसके 18 जना आयो आउँदैछ ल
सुनि सर पनि आउनु पर्यो
20 ल दिपसना गिरीको भन्दा मेरो कपाल लामो छ हेर बाबु ल कम्पिटिसन गर्ने
सर सन्चै हुन्छ
ठीक छ
सर सन्चै हुन्छ
ठीक छु एकदम गिरिवानीको जस्तो बाट्ने मैले गिरिवानीको उ लुकिसके उ यहाँ गिरिवानीको जस्तो मैले कपाल बाट्ने बेला भयो ल सुनिल सर के भएको
नेटवर्क प्रब्लम हो कि अलिकति त्यो नेटवर्क नराखेको छ फेरि कन्ट्री गर्न सकिन्छ
ल ल ल सुनिल सर
नेटवर्क प्रब्लम ओके
ओके
सर ओके ओके सर ओके 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 माय डियर फ्रेंड्स because of technical problem sorry for that once again we are going to continue the net migration rate okay okay my dear students you can see in the slide net migration rate and just I told you what is the formula of the net migration rate and meaning of I and E. So there is one of the example to calculate the net migration rate. All right. So suppose that the total population of the country in 2015 was 20,50,530. And what will be the now net migration rate if the number of in migrants was 5,020 and number of out migrant was 980. Now for the solution to calculate NMR, we have to put the formula. The formula is I minus E. I minus E divided by P multiplied by 1000. Okay. My dear students, once again, you can see the example. What is the total number of incoming the population? In migrants was 5,020. Right? And minus E means out migrants. Out migrant was 980. You can see in the question paper. You can see the example. Right? So once again, I want to repeat I minus E. I means in migrant was 5020. You can see the example there is mentioned, right? And minus subtract total out migrants was 980. You can see the example. And now divided by p means total number of population was 20,50,530 is mentioned in the example, and multiple by 1000 to calculate NMR. Now we have to do a cross multiplication. While we do cross multiplication, the answer will become 1.97 per thousand. 1.97 per thousand to calculate net migration rate. Okay, my dear students, once again I want to repeat, it is very easy to remember the formula of net migration rate. You can remember incoming the number of population, incoming minus outgoing. Incoming minus outgoing divided by total number of population multiplied by 1000, and total incoming number of population will be given the question paper. Out migrate population will also given in the question paper. Then we have to, the total population will be also given in the question paper. Yeah, so that you have to remember the formula of NMR. And in the same example, like the in migration rate, out migration rate, we can also replace the number only. Just for example, listen very carefully. Just for example, the population of a country in 2010 was 20 lakhs only. In 2010 was 20 lakhs. What will be the NMR if the number of in migrants was 5,000 and number of out migrants was 500? Thus, I have replaced the number only. Yeah, so that by using a formula, we can easily calculate the NMR, net migration rate. Right? So, okay. And after then, the next measurement of migration rate is gross migration rate, or total sum TMR or GMR. So gross migration sum, total migration rate. Now, to calculate gross migration rate, in net migration rate, we have to minus, we have to subtract. But in gross sum means we have to add. We have to add the incoming and outgoing the number of population divided by P, median population, multiplied by 1000. It's very simple, very easy. Because just I told you, in the net migration rate, we have to do minus, we have to subtract incoming minus outgoing divided by P multiplied by 1000. Gross means sum. In sum, we have to do addition. So that GMR equal to I plus E divided by P multiplied by 1000, right? So same as the meaning of I, E and P. In just we discussed in net migration rate. What is the meaning of I? What is the meaning of E? And what is the meaning of a capital P? So once again, I want to read the meaning of I, capital E, capital P. I, total number of in migrants, just I told you, total incoming population. E, total number of out migrants, outgoing the number of population, and P equal to total mid-year population. The meaning is same as the net migration rate. Now, one example for you. One example to calculate GMR. Now, suppose the population of a town was 2,02,625 in 2014. Suppose the total population of a town was 2,02,625 in 2014. Now, what will be the GMR? That means the gross migration rate if 2,540 persons immigrant means immigrants, and 1,900 persons out migrated, that means out migrants from the country. So my dear students, once again you can see the example, you can see the number, total number of population 2,02,625, total outgoing, incoming the number of population 2,540, and total outgoing the number of population 1,900. So from that value we can easily calculate the GMR, that is gross migration rate. Now for the solution, GMR equal to capital I plus capital E divided by capital P multiplied by 1,000 to calculate the GMR. Now, I incoming the number of population. In example, you can see what's the total incoming the number of population. That means 2,540, right? Plus in NMR we have done minus, but in this gross migration rate we have to do the plus. We have to add. So plus E outgoing. So in example, you can see the total out migrants 1,900, 1,900, right? So divided by population. What's the total population? You can see in the question paper the total population was 2,02,625, right? 2,02,625 multiplied by 1,000. Now we have to do the cross multiplication. We have to do the cross multiplication. While we do the cross multiplication, equal to 2.19 per 1,000 is the answer of GMR. And in case of GMR also there is a unit per 1,000. So that's why in the measurement of migration rate, the unit is overall the four ways for measurements of migration. So in 4 ways of migration rate, the same unit as a per 1,000. So we should multiply by 1,000 to calculate different migration rate, in migration rate, out migration rate, net migration rate, and gross migration rate. Okay. So okay, after explaining the migration rate, okay, Mr. Bhaskar, are you listening to me?
Yes, sir.
Okay, Mr. Bhaskar, just we discuss different measurement of the migration rate. Although there are 4 measurement: in migration, out migration, net migration rate, and the gross migration rate, right?
Yes, sir.
Do you have any confusion about that formula?
Sir, no.
Okay. If not, Mr. Bhaskar, I want to ask one formula. Okay?
Yes, sir.
Can you tell me the formula? Can you tell me the formula to calculate net migration rate? What is the formula of net migration rate?
Sir, net migration rate, total number of immigrants minus total number of out migrants divided by total media population into 1,000.
Multiplied by 1,000. Okay, very good. Okay, once again, please, can you tell me the formula to calculate IMR? That means in migration rate.
I divide by P into 1,000.
What is the meaning of I and what is the meaning of P? Can you?
Total number of immigrants divided by total number of total media population into 1,000.
Okay, very good. Thank you so much, Mr. Bhaskar. Thank you so much. Very good. Okay, after then, Mr. Navin, are you listening to me? Okay, otherwise, Mr. Saurabh, are you listening to me? Mr. Saurabh, are you listening to me? Okay, otherwise, Mr. Dennis, are you listening to me?
Yes, sir.
Okay, Dennis, just we discuss the measurement of migration rate. There are also the 4 ways to calculate the migration rate, right? Okay, can you tell me what are the 4 ways of migration rate? What are they?
In migration rate, out migration rate, net migration rate, and gross migration rate.
Gross migration rate. Okay, very good. Okay, boy, please, can you tell me the formula to calculate OMR? Formula
E by
to
P
calculate.
into 1,000.
Once again.
E by P into 1,000.
Okay, what is the meaning of E and what is the meaning of P?
Total number of immigrants by total media population into 1000.
Okay, very good. Okay, thank you so much, Mr. Dennis. Thank you so much. Thank you. Okay, after Dennis, okay, Miss Rosana, are you listening to me? Okay, Miss Rosana, just we discussed the migration rate, 4 ways to calculate migration rate, in migration rate, out migration rate, net migration, gross migration rate. Yes?
Yes, sir.
Okay, do you have any confusion in that formula?
No, sir.
Okay, if not, please can you tell me the formula? Can you tell me the formula to calculate gross migration rate?
Total number of in-migrants plus
Yeah,
total number of out-migrants divided by population of total media into 1000.
in 2000. Very good. And can you tell me the formula to calculate out migration rate?
Out-migration rate.
Yeah.
Total number of immigrants by total number of media population into 1000.
Okay, very good. Okay, thank you so much, Rosna. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Okay, after the my dear students, now I am going to conclude of this content, and just we discuss the 4 ways to calculate migration rate. There are IMR, in migration rate, second OMR, out migration rate, third NMR, net migration rate, and last one is the GMR, that's a gross migration rate. Okay, my dear students, once again I want to repeat the formula, this formula only, because formula is very essential, and if we know the formula, then we can easily calculate the numerical problems with the help of the essential value or data. Okay, once again, IMR, that's the migration rate, equal to I by P, that's incoming the number of population divided by total number of population multiplied by 10. IMR equal to incoming the number of population divided by total number of population multiplied by 1000 to calculate IMR, the first measurement of migration rate. And second one is OMR, that's a out migration rate. OMR equal to O divided by P. O means that is the outgoing the number of population. Total outgoing the number of population divided by total media population, or total number of population multiplied by 1000 to calculate OMR. To calculate OMR, second measurement of migration rate. And after the third one is your net migration rate, that's a NMR. NMR equal to I minus O divided by P multiplied by 1000. I minus O divided by P multiplied by 1000 to calculate net migration rate. Incoming the number of population minus outgoing the number of population divided by media population multiplied by 1000 to calculate net migration rate. And finally, the last measurement of migration rate is GMR, gross migration rate, and GMR equal to I plus O divided by P multiplied by 1000. I, incoming the number of population, plus outgoing the number of population divided by total number of media population multiplied by 1000 to calculate GMR, or total migration rate. So that there are altogether 4 measurements of migration rate. And my dear students, with the help of a textbook, otherwise while I'll put this class in the Google class, I will mention some numerical problems as well, that is assignments for you. And in this slide there is not mentioned, but while I will put in the Google Classroom, I will also include some numerical problems for your assignment, for your homework. And assignment will link to calculate the numerical problems of migration rate, that is a IMR, in migration rate, out migration rate, net migration rate, and the gross migration Great. Okay, all of you, thank you so much for your active participation.